right, hello, welcome. Algebra 2. Um, it's been a little bit since we've met. We've had some crazy weather as of late. So again, hopefully you're, persevering through those challenges. Our word of the month is perseverance. And so I asked some people last week to look at whatever they were doing, if they had a picture. We had quite a few people respond. So again, I posted this picture. This is something in my backyard. We ended up at my house getting about 14 inches. So it was a lot of snow, um, a lot of shoveling for Mr. Larson. And I asked for people to submit some of their pictures. Again, awesome. Thank you for participating. Look at, how heavy the snow was on the trees. It made all the branches kind of bend over. So again, Skol Vikings, big playoff game this weekend. So thank you to those that participated with that. Was gonna just kick off things, doing this kind of activity. Just again, it's kind of fun. If you didn't know, this is sort of our last meeting of the quarter two. So there's 2 weeks left of school. There's no school on Monday. Next Monday, it's Martin Luther King Day. So we won't meet next week, and then it's finals week. And during finals week, we will not meet as well. So this is our last class connect of quarter two. But of course, if you have questions, let me know. All right. This is kind of just a different activity to get us started. There's going to be a number. So I'm going to ask for volunteer to give us a number, and I want you to share, what do you see? What does it remind you of? And what else could it be? Again, just kind of a different way to start class today. So I'm looking for a volunteer to choose a number. 12. All right. What do you see? What does it remind you of? What else could it be? I see, I don't know what, it kind of looks like the top of like a graduation cap. Um, that's kind of what it reminds me of. It's like a square with a cut through it. I don't know. Let's see. What do we got? Kind of see a dog in the shapes. You can see that a little bit. Yeah, he's kind of staring in the middle. What else? Let's get some other participants. Again, there's no right or wrong answer here. Um, just something different to get started. Maybe this is a hard one. We can pick a different number too. All right, let's do that. Let's pick a different one. How about 5? No, don't like that one. 9. All right. Yeah, CD cover. I could see that. Like a DVD or CD. What do you see? What does it remind you of? What else could it be? I mean, I see a bunch of triangles. When I look at this, it looks like almost like a tuxedo sort of thing. If the top part up here would be the head, this is like a bow tie. This is sort of, I don't know, shattered glass. Yeah, I like that. Black and white, shattered glass. Come on, we've got other people in the chat. Let's get some other opinions in here. Mountains. Oh yeah, I could see that. Building off of each other like a mountain range. Let's try one more. 22. Oh. Immediately I think of Flubber, the old movie about the green little gooey guy but I don't know. It kind of looks to me like a boot. Italy. Everyone says Italy's shaped like a boot. Um, I think of this as like a nuclear warning sign, like in the middle here, like a yellow and black, like warning, warning. People dancing. Oh yeah, like a cha 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 cha. I could see that as well. Awesome. All right. Thanks for participating in that. Let's jump to Schoology. This was geometry. Do you guys remember this good stuff? Oh yeah, 30, 60, 90, 45, 45, 90. The best. All right. So the last couple weeks, again, you can see we're kind of starting to wind down as we're getting close to the end of the semester. So finishing up unit 6 this week and then getting started in unit 7. I was gonna go over some of the reviews from IXL for today, and then I'll probably be it. So gotta move this toolbar. There it goes. All right, so we talked about inverse functions. There it is. Yep. Okay, perfect. So is g of x the inverse function of f of x? And in order to do this, we have to do composition functions, which is like what we say f of g or g of f. So I'm basically going to wrap my function inside of itself here. So I'm going to start with f of g. And as I plug that in again, let's see what the original statement was. X minus 6, x plus 6. So what ends up happening when I do f of g of x is I get x plus 6 minus 6, and that's going to equal x. Great. That's half of it. I also have to do g of f right here. I'd say find g of f of x. Okay. X minus 6 plus 6. All right, still going to get the same thing. You have to get the same thing here in order for them to be inverse functions. Okay. Similarly, we worked on finding the values of an inverse function. So the function is invertible. This is how you show, one way to show that a function is an inverse. You use an exponent of -1. Oops. So as we go through, we say, all right, what I need to do is basically flip flop my X and my Y values to get the inverse. So the question right here was asking, what's the inverse of -71? Okay. So again, if it's a table, I can kind of just look over and see it right away. But if it's not a table, you may have to go through the equation, flip flop your X and your Y coordinates, and then solve to see what you're left with. And then you can get your answer. So that's another thing we do with inverses. Um, and then one of the big things that we talked about in unit 7 was extraneous solutions. So an extraneous solution um, is basically an answer that's excluded from the domain. So again, remember domain and range, those have like kind of been important lately, and the domain again are your x values that can happen, that it works for the solution. Your y values are examples that do not, or that your range works for those solutions. So in this example, as we go through and solving for x, Okay, they split it up. They try to factor it out. They say, all right, I need to get the same numerator and denominator. When I do all this stuff, it cancels out. I'm left with x minus 2 plus x plus 2 equals 4. Those cancel out. 2x equals 4, x equals 2. However, if x equals 2, when I plug it back in, 2 minus 2 is 0. I get a denominator of 0. And anytime you have a denominator of 0, your solution is undefined. And so to counteract that, or again, this is an example of an extraneous solution because you can't have an answer of 2. If you plug in 2, you get a denominator of 0 and it's not going to work. So this is an example of an extraneous solution. And that was kind of one of the things we talked about in units, I believe at the end of unit 6. Yeah. And then unit 7 was about graphing. So again, a rational function is anything that can be written as a fraction, basically. That's how we think about rational functions. Knowing that how to write vertical and horizontal asymptotes. Remember, x equals is for your vertical asymptote, y equals is for your horizontal asymptote. Again, draw your asymptotes, plot your points to the left and to the right. Remember how these, again, k moves it left and right, x minus 8, or k moves it up and down, h moves it left and right. And then talking about the domain, which again is your x values, and your range, which is your y values, making clear points. Okay, I got to be able to read your graphs. I got to be able to see your graphs. On any of your assignments, if you want to do it on a piece of paper, you can do that. And then just submit that as well. I'm okay with that. So that is, again, up to you. Okay, let's see here. All right, so if I go in here, Class Connect assignment. Given the function f of x equals 3x minus 2, find its inverse. So again, in this case, you kind of want to swap your y, which would be f of x, and your x, flip-flop them, and solve all the way, basically solve for x then. Let me share it in a different way. Find the inverse. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap this. Again, I'm going to call this y, and then I'm going to swap it with this. I'm going to say x equals 3y minus 2. And now I got to try to get that by itself. By 3. That's one way to write it. I believe your answer choices kind of split it up. So it says x over 3 is 2/3. And the second question was the extraneous solution example that we had. Solve for x. Okay. When we went through this, we found that x equaled 2. But it can't equal 2 because of the denominator equaling 0. So yes, this is an extraneous solution. All right. That's all I had. Again, I'm more than willing to stick around to answer any questions. wanted to just, again, as we start to get to the end of the semester, kind of, didn't want to pile on, a lot of stuff in this Class Connect. Use it as a reflection point. Think about where we've started at the beginning of the year. We're almost halfway through Algebra 2. So you're almost halfway through your grade, which again is you've done a lot. You've covered a lot of stuff. You've learned a lot, and that's something you should be proud of and you should reflect on. And so that was part of what I was hoping for today. And again, we did some different things. Other than that, get that assignment done. Have a great rest of your day. And we won't meet again in Q2, but please reach out. Let me know if you have questions. I'd be happy to answer any of those. All right.